This is Drips News, your source for up-to-the-minute financial, political, and cultural headlines. Stay tuned as we dive into today's top stories, including rising unemployment claims, Tesla's stock plunge, Bitcoin's wild ride, and the highlights from last night's Academy Awards. Don't forget to follow us online for breaking updates and in-depth analysis. New U.S. unemployment claims surged to a three-month high of 242,000, exceeding analyst expectations. While this increase is notable, overall jobless claims remain within a healthy range compared to the past 3 years. Analysts are closely monitoring potential impacts from government downsizing. Despite recent increases, the labor market remains relatively strong, with employers adding 143,000 jobs in January and the unemployment rate holding at 4%. Major companies like Workday, Dow, CNN, Starbucks, Southwest Airlines, and Meta have announced workforce reductions in 2025. The Federal Reserve is closely watching the labor market as it contemplates future interest rate adjustments. Now, let's turn to the roller coaster that is Tesla's stock. Tesla's stock has plummeted 30% since December, wiping out over $100 billion of Elon Musk's wealth, sparking heated debate among shareholders. Critics point to Musk's Washington involvement and polarizing reputation as impacting sales, evidenced by Tesla's first year-over-year sales decline in a decade. Supporters cite increased EV competition and concerns about Tesla's self-driving dominance. Investor Gary Black highlights worries about Tesla's robotaxi ambitions amid advancements from rivals like BYD. Tesla faces challenges in both sales and emerging technologies. From electric vehicles to digital currency, next up, we examine Bitcoin's recent tumble. Bitcoin's price plunged to its lowest level since November, dropping below $88,000, a more than 7% decrease, amidst growing tariff fears and economic anxieties mirroring the NASDAQ's downward trend. The sell-off was fueled by a significant drop in consumer confidence. Experts suggest investors mistakenly viewed crypto as a safe haven, leading to the correction, while Bitcoin initially surged after Donald Trump's election. Fueled by hopes of crypto-friendly policies, it has since fallen approximately 20% from its peak. Eric Trump has publicly encouraged investors to buy the dips. Now, for a change of pace, let's trade the markets for the movies and recap last night's Academy Awards. Last night, the 97th Academy Awards celebrated cinematic excellence, with Sean Baker's dramedy Honora winning Best Picture, along with Original Screenplay, Best Director for Baker, and Best Actress for Mikey Madison. Adrian Brody won Best Actor for The Brutalist, and Kieran Culkin won Best Supporting Actor for A Real Pain. Zoe Saldana delivered a moving speech, honoring her heritage, while accepting Best Supporting Actress for Emilia Perez. No Other Land won Best Documentary Feature, with filmmakers calling for peace. The ceremony featured memorable musical performances, making for an unforgettable night. Shifting gears from the glitz of Hollywood, we turn to a serious public health concern: a measles outbreak in Texas. A measles outbreak in Texas, resulting in a child's death, is raising concerns, especially given Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s past skepticism towards vaccines. Kennedy stated, "The department is monitoring the outbreak," but downplayed its significance, noting annual measles outbreaks. This marks the first U.S. measles fatality since 2015. Critics point to Kennedy's limited engagement with HHS operations and lack of specific action regarding the outbreak. Experts suggest this situation could become politically challenging for President Trump and Republican lawmakers, particularly if other diseases emerge amid budget cuts to disease control efforts. The appointment of Kennedy, known for vaccine-related misinformation, coupled with these outbreaks and resource limitations, present a potential public health and political risk. Now, let's move to cybersecurity and the surprising halt of offensive cyber operations against Russia. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has surprisingly ordered a halt to offensive cyber operations against Russia. This directive, issued to U.S. Cyber Command in late February, comes amid heightened Russian cyber activity targeting Ukraine and NATO countries. While the duration is unclear, a defense official cited the safety of warfighters in the cyber domain as the top priority. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency affirmed its commitment to defending against cyber threats from Russia, emphasizing no change in their posture. This decision follows President Trump's recent efforts to reestablish diplomatic channels with Russia and initiate peace talks to end the war in Ukraine and tensions arising between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky over criticisms of Putin. Next, we'll delve into the potential economic fallout as the U.S. considers imposing tariffs on Canada and Mexico. The U.S. is expected to impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico as early as Tuesday, according to Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Proposed tariffs include a 25% duty on most imports from Mexico and Canada, with energy products potentially facing a 10% duty. A 10% tariff on Chinese goods remains a possibility. Economists warn of increased costs for American consumers and businesses, impacting electronics, groceries, and vehicles. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent mentioned Mexico's offer to match U.S. tariffs on China, with potential for Canada to follow suit. Bessent also announced the appointment of an affordability czar to address ongoing inflationary pressures. From tariffs to protests, let's turn to the demonstrations erupting at Tesla showrooms worldwide. Protests erupted at Tesla showrooms across the U.S. and internationally Saturday, under the banner Tesla Takedown. Demonstrators are rallying against CEO Elon Musk's actions, particularly his role in government agencies. Organizers aim to create a vote of no confidence from shareholders, citing concerns about Musk's position and potential impacts on various sectors. The movement, which started online, has quickly gained momentum, with protests planned worldwide. Demonstrators chanted slogans and held signs criticizing Musk's leadership and raising concerns about his ventures beyond Tesla, including Starlink. The demonstrations reflect growing unease with Musk's influence and potential consequences. The plot thickens as we examine the implications of a heated exchange between former President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky, signaling a potential shift in U.S.-Russia relations. A heated exchange between former President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky has fueled speculation about a potential shift in U.S.-Russia relations. Moscow anticipates renewed talks aimed at rebuilding ties, possibly including a fast-tracked Trump-Putin summit. Discussions are reportedly underway for U.S.-Russia economic deals, potentially sidelining Ukraine in negotiations to end the war. Areas of cooperation could include energy deals, restarting the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and joint scientific projects, like a U.S.-Russia mission to Mars. This potential realignment raises concerns about the U.S. turning its back on Western allies and isolating Europe. While the reasons behind this shift are debated, some suggest a desire to reset U.S.-Russia ties or a belief that Russia could be a U.S. ally against China. As the U.S. seemingly reconsiders its alliances, we'll now look at how Europe is stepping up its support for Ukraine. Amidst growing tensions with the U.S., Europe is strengthening its support for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Top U.S. officials are questioning Zelensky's commitment to ending the conflict following a reportedly disastrous Oval Office meeting. However, European leaders, including British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, welcomed Zelensky with open arms, promising continued support and arms for Ukraine. King Charles III also granted Zelensky an audience, a symbolic gesture. France and Britain are proposing a limited truce in Ukraine, while the European Commission aims to bolster Ukraine's defenses. This divergence highlights a significant rift in the Western alliance, but also signals Europe's willingness to take a leading role in resolving the conflict and crafting a peace plan. From international relations to social security, next we'll examine Elon Musk's controversial comments about the future of social security. Elon Musk is sparking controversy after labeling Social Security the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. During an appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Musk argued that payments into Social Security are immediately disbursed, while future obligations far outweigh tax revenue, citing longer lifespans as a contributing factor. Musk's comments echo long-standing conservative criticisms and raise concerns about potential pushes for privatization. The Social Security Administration has projected potential funding shortfalls by 2035. Democrats have proposed solutions like eliminating the cap on Social Security taxes for high earners. This debate highlights ongoing tensions surrounding the future of this vital social safety net. Finally, we'll close with Elon Musk's latest controversy, his criticism of X's Community Notes feature, which he previously championed. Elon Musk, owner of X, formerly Twitter, is now criticizing the platform's Community Notes feature, which he previously championed as the best way to combat misinformation. This shift comes after Community Notes corrected posts claiming low approval ratings for Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. A recent poll showed Zelensky with a 57% approval rating, contradicting claims of unpopularity. Musk alleges the system is now being gamed by governments and legacy media. That's all for today's Drips News. From plummeting stocks to political earthquakes and everything in between, we've covered the stories that matter most. But don't go anywhere because the news never sleeps. Be sure to follow us online for 24/7 updates and analysis. Until next time, stay informed and stay ahead of the curve.